Ew. I will be talking to Terez Mychelle this evening. Waiting for her to pop in. I've always loved Terez. I've had like a low key crush on her. I've even told her wife to her face that I had a crush on her. I think Terez is like, her spirit and her soul is just like, mwah, it's primo. And she's gorgeous. Gorgeous. You'll see. Y'all see how dope she is. Just waiting for her to pop in. I hope everyone had an awesome day. That Halloween's approaching. If you're going out and getting in them streets, partying and participating in anything Thanksgiving, please be safe. Oh, the queen is in the building. Here we go. Hey, yeah.
Hi, sweetie.
How are you, gorgeous?
I'm very well. How are you?
Very well.
Thank you. You looking all handsome yourself. Look at you.
Cut it out. Cut it out. Cut it out.
Absolutely.
It's been such a while since I've touched and agreed with you. It's been, wow, years.
Yeah, it's been a minute, and
Yeah.
it's all love, but yeah, it's been a minute. How you been?
I'm blessed. I cannot complain.
Good.
There's some changes, but there were some needed changes that happened, and they were all for the better.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here.
Yeah.
Reorganizing, I'll call it, restructuring and reorganizing, but yeah, and mostly really exercising your chops again and just making sure you get things in order, sorting out all the details. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. In certain situations, learning some new chops.
That part.
Yeah.
And embracing those in gratitude. Yes.
Yes. So I want to dig in. I want to dig right on in.
Okay.
First of all, how's your lovely wife?
She is amazing and lovely, quite lovely. She's amazing. Thank you for asking. Yeah, she's really good.
Send her my love, and I miss her as well.
I absolutely will. She'll probably jump on. She's out in the streets, but she'll probably jump on if she can pull over and do some stuff for a minute.
All right. So, where are you from originally?
Originally, I'm a New Yorker. Born
in
New York. And also I have to give a shout out to my Southern roots too, because we were kind of, back and forth as a child, but I'm a New Yorker, born and bred. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Have you spent any time in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah. Like Philly was my second home at one point. I have a dear friend, sister, and family in Philadelphia. And I used to go like every weekend, quite frankly. Yeah. So I love Philly.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I might be able to close a loop. From the moment I met you, right, I always thought that you looked familiar.
Okay.
Does the name Total Serenity Day Spa mean anything to you?
Total Serenity Day Spa. I can't say it does.
Okay. There's a spa that used to be in Rittenhouse Square, owned by a Black woman.
Her name?
Giovanni.
That doesn't ring a bell immediately. No.
Okay. All right. Because I could have swore I could have swore I had a client back then named Terez, but it was years and years and years ago, and I could never put it together if it was you.
It's funny. Day spas are my thing, so like listen, it's not impossible, but it doesn't like jar me. I used to go to Philly like religiously, like I would go to, if I wanted to see a movie and it was playing at a Philly movie theater, I'd go to Philly to see it. That's how Philly and I were like affiliated. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So tell me, I guess how I'm forming the question in my head is I pretty much want to know how do you describe yourself? And I need like 4 things. So for example, I'm a husband, I'm a architect. You know, I'm a painter. You know, I need you to describe yourself in that way.
Mm.
Four.
Four. Okay. First, I'd like to say I'm an advocate. You know, I'm an activist first. Excuse my puppy. Somebody must be coming near the house because he decides he wants to. Anyway, I can't turn him off immediately.
It's all, this is a family show.
Clearly, thank you for that. I would like to say first, I'm an activist, advocate. Second, I would say thespian, friend. You know, and I'm seeing, and let me explain that friend thing too, because I think that is probably the biggest for those who know me and for those who I deem my friend or extended family. Excuse me, let me just close the door. Maybe that will help. Okay. Sorry. His name is Brave. He's very active. He's a Havanese puppy and he's excitable. I'm an old school friend, right? Yeah. I'm one of those friends who you can call in the middle of the night, get a hoodie for you, you know, the ride, and then we'll check you if it was something that you could do better. I'm a pull-up friend, you know, I'm a call-in friend, you know. I'm not, I don't understand the use of the term friends. I think social media has messed up friend, you know, friend requests, that kind of deal. You know, I'm an old school friend. I predate social media. So, and I love hard, you know, so if I call you my friend, that means you're my people, you know, and we subscribe to the same cultures about each other. And we, you know, we take care of each other and, you know, we make sure we're good, that kind of friend, you know. That would be my third. This is not in, you know, sequential order. It's just, you know, when you said four things, it's like, ooh, let me think. And the fourth thing, so advocate, thespian, friend.
Hey, Mom.
And I want to say warrior spirit, you know.
I get that. I get that from
yeah. Someone brought that to my attention very recently, and they were like, you know, and I was like, well, why? You know, it was a question of why, and I had to ask, why are you calling me for this? And because you're my warrior spirit. And I thought about that and I received that, you know, because yeah, if we are taking on a charge, I like to think that I'm invested in that. And I'd like to think that, you know, I'm giving it my whole heart, you know, in a very loving way. So. Yeah.
Would you consider yourself an empath?
Yes. And that's not always a good thing.
I know.
Oh my God. It's not always a good thing, but yes, I'm deeply, deeply feeling for others, and and sometimes that gets me in trouble because you know sometimes others have to have their own path, you know. And as much as I can hear that here, if like I'm the type of person that if I see a hole, I'm gonna say, "Hey, Chike, that's a hole. Don't walk there." But you may just want to walk in the hole, you know.
Yeah.
And I have to, you know, I have to suck that up, and I don't want to be there to see my friend get hurt. You know, I don't want to be there, you know, but I'm learning, you know, there, and I'm open, but that definitely an empath. I think that comes across a little too much sometimes, you know, and also
explain that.
Well, when it's like a moth to the flame, you know, when people are in need, they are attracted to people that are caregivers, you know, and a lot of times caregivers need to be reminded that they need to take care of themselves, you know.
That part.
Yeah. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you can take things on for other people and you don't find them doing the same amount of work for themselves, you know. So it becomes one of those things. So kind of have to keep things in perspective. And then again, I've learned, and I'm still learning, because this is a baptism by fire. I'm still learning that if people want to fall in their own hole, you kind of have to let them, you know.
Yes.
It doesn't grudge me of my part of saying, hey, look out, that's a hole. But that's all I do. I don't jump over and cover it, you know.
Yeah. And part of it too is life is class. You're in class. And if you don't learn the lesson, I can't make you learn it for you. I can't do that.
No. Can't do it. Can't do it. Much to your chagrin, sometimes you just can't do it. You just have to kind of, and then know that when it happens, how to be able to stay in your space and not feel away, not take on the grief that comes with someone perhaps stumbling in their path. Yeah.
And what hit me, and I don't know if it's ever been said before, just comparing life to a class. It's an open book class at that.
Ooh. Facts. Facts. An open book. That's great. I think I'm gonna adopt that. Thank you. Yes, an open
All
book
you
class.
have to do is pay attention. All you
Yeah,
have to do is pay attention.
yeah. I had the benefit of growing up and having a lot of first cousins that did a lot of stumbling, and when I would
Mhm.
watch them older than me, so when I watched them go through their trials and tribulations, I would be the younger one looking kind of like, okay, well, that's not the thing to do. And sometimes having these internal conversations with, why did you do that? Oh my God, you're gonna get fried. But learning, and
Yeah.
learning. And the
Yeah.
idea that when you have a lesson, and you own the responsibility in that lesson,
Hmm.
and that's it. Because some people can have a lesson and then repeat it and not understand that that sucker is going to come back bigger and bolder the next time until you get what you need to get from it.
Hmm.
When you
Yeah.
get it, act like you got it. You know what I mean? Like act like you got it and move on and be able to grow from that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. And what I find in younger generations, they don't embrace their elders like we did, but we do. And that's another part of the lesson. How else you gonna learn except for someone who's been there already? You have teachers in the house.
Yeah, 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 I've been a mentor in a lot of situations, but I also sit with this sometimes too about how much we've kind of failed them in a way, you know,
Yes.
by not making it our life's work to really reach back and pull someone or kind of help someone else in their journey, because I can't say it's all them, because a lot of times we go on life's terms, right? And we get so
Hmm.
involved in what we're doing and our walls get kind of closed. And then you have folks that are watching us that, don't necessarily have access. So I think that, we need to give folks genuine access sometimes, or not, or if not, give them a resource that would be able to help.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
What inspires you?
Mm. Today, um, wow. Simple things inspire me today. You know, nature inspires me. Like I know
Mm,
when to decompress, how necessary it's become for me to get with the elements. You
mm,
know, sometimes when I need to purge, the elements are the only things that helps me purge. Like when I need to have a deep, deep, full cry, the
mhm,
only way I can do that is in the elements, like
mm,
in a park, or I don't want to sound creepy, but like in a park or somewhere like near ocean. That's always great for me. Oceans just kind of I can leave it all there. They're so majestic and just powerful. Kids inspire me, seeing things for the first time. I love the giggles, of kids for the first time, their ups and downs. Like the other day, I have to say, I have a chosen nephew, and right when we had the storms up here in the East Coast, his mom
mhm,
and dad were busy, kind of taking care of whatever the damage was. And she said to me, and she thought in her brain that it was she was asking me a favor, when she has no idea that the pleasure was all mine to be able to spend time with him and be in his world, and how simple things were, and just, and hanging
yeah,
out, laughing, that sort of
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. I think one of the biggest things for me out of everything, like the best sound for me, is to hear a baby full on belly laugh, like that full hearted from a baby, that purity. I love it. That's the best sound in the world to me.
Oh, yes. We have 5 grandchildren right now. And watching them on video, and and Mo gets the chance to go down more than I do. They're in Florida.
Mhm,
And
Mm-hmm.
their laughter, and when they're all together, just in their camaraderie, and just, you know, I can sit there. It does not bother me. Like, I love kids and how they move and how they think, and, you know, what they
Mm-hmm.
find to be funny, like all those things. You know, it just brings
Yeah.
out the to me all the way. You know, yeah.
So how long have you been married now?
Got married in 2014. So what's that? 6 and 2, like going on 7 years now.
Wow, 7 years. What's the key to a successful?
Communication.
Mm-hmm.
Say that enough. Communication and keeping that going, and growth, you know, and not being afraid to communicate the hard things, you know. That's number one on my list. If you don't have communication, you don't have anything else. And everything can be built off communication. You know, I think that's one of the biggest blessings I have in my connection is we talk. You know, we talk to each other like we just met, you know, and we've known each other in the periphery for like decades, but we talk like we just met, you know.
And another thing about both of you is that, at least what I pick up on my end, both of you are say what you mean, no nonsense kind of women. So you lay it out there, right there, front and simple.
Yeah. We neither one of us is passive aggressive at all. We say what we mean what we say, but we're also open to hearing another perspective that may
Yeah.
make a difference in how we view things. You know, I believe that everybody comes to into the world and is moving in the world, looking and having experiences shaped in their own, from their own lens, you know, from their own
Mm-hmm.
experiences. And doesn't make them wrong, it just makes them uniquely theirs, you know. And then when you get two people from two different walks of life and two different lenses together, you know, sharing and moving in those, and sometimes there's trauma in those lenses, sometimes there's a lot of joy in those lenses, depends on what those lenses are, you know. And if you have any backstory that possibly needs to be cleaned up, your partner oftentimes can serve as a mirror to that,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
True.
meaning pulling you higher to whatever that is and helping you move that along, you know, so that you're able to coexist together. You know, she and I have a very, very unique dance of intimacy, you know, very unique, you know, and I'm grateful for
I love the look on your face as you talk about it.
it. Yeah, yeah, because it's one of the things that brings me joy. Yeah, it does.
That's cool. That's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
10-year-old Terez, what does she want to be when she grows up?
10-year-old Terez was a firecracker now. 10-year-old Terez wanted to direct, you know. 10-year-old Terez was writing little plays and wanted to direct her own show, you know. And so much so that when 12-year-old Terez was ready to approach high school, it's funny because this came up a couple of weeks ago. I went to the head of the drama department and told him, where do I need to sign up? I want to know in advance so I can start preparing. I'm always preparing for something. You know? And he looked at me like, and you and I, this day are still amazing. He's part of my chosen family, my first director who
Mm-hmm.
did it at high school level, and he also did it on a community college level, and he also did it in Broadway level. So, and I didn't know all this about him. I just knew, you know, what I knew at the time. So I went to this man's office and told him, listen, you know, and he's like, who and where, what are you even in high school yet? I was like, no, not yet. But, you know, I need to know how to do this, how to move around, you know. He was like, oh, he says, well, you know, freshmen, they're not in the department yet. You have to wait till you become a junior or a senior. I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, that's not going to happen. So I kept knocking on the doors, and so he finally gave me, you know, a task to do in the theater department, you know. But I
That's
was,
awesome.
yeah.
So someone once told me that the 10-year old you and the aspirations that you have somewhat fall in line with the adult you in what you become in some way, form, or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
How true is that for you?
Very true. Very,
Mm-hmm.
very true. I went on to do a lot of Broadway stuff, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like the youngest at one time when I was 16. I actually was the youngest stage manager that was doing shows at that time in New York. And it's full circle now because I have a project that I'm launching in December which, you know, I'm looking forward to sending you an invitation for the soft launch when we do the public thing to the world. Yeah, it's come full circle for me in that vein. Yeah.
I would be very honored to attend.
And I'd be very honored to have you there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
So what kind of advice would you give to a youngster who is maybe trying to claw their way into entertainment in any fashion?
What I would do is say hone your craft. I would say study the greats, depending on what area that you wanted to go into. If it's acting, I would say definitely hone your craft, you know, take some lessons, you know, and this is not saying that, you know, you don't have a natural talent, because there are people that have never gone to school, you know, and done that. I don't particularly subscribe to school being the end all and be all for anybody that wants to get into entertainment. What I will say is that, you should hone your craft and know the history of what you want to do, to be able to attack it from a place of being, you know, fluid in it, you know, and be prepared to have a thick skin, because, you know, you're going to hear a lot of no's, you know, and just and connect with people in the industry that you find that will help mentor you, and you can be a part of several different projects, you know, that will help you learn about what it takes. I often say that people see the highlight reels, but they don't know the work behind it, you know, when they want to come into the industry. So I think it's necessary to understand how, you know, it doesn't go from A to Z, it goes from A, B, C, D, to learn the alphabets in between before jumping in, you know, so that way you're not so disappointed, and it's not, and something that you can help navigate a lot of the pain that comes along with it. You know, there are a lot of, yeah, that's what I think.
And I would just add too, sometimes the door that you envision for yourself may not be the door that gets open for you. And you have to stay on your toes, and you have to be ready for any opportunity from any facet that comes your way, because that could be your door in.
That part. That's about staying ready, you know, stay ready, because you don't know, and try a little bit. Don't be afraid to try. It may not look like what you want it to, because, you know, the path to success varies for everybody depending on and perspective is key. You know, if you can get in doing, let's say, script supervision, get in, you know, whatever it is that you need to get in doing, because you'll learn a lot, and you don't know, you could shift up your stuff. I went from stage manager to production stage manager to script supervisor to lighting designer. I did it, you know, it all. So now when I look at a production, I see it a whole different way, you know. And I got a few years back, I got the challenge, and I had never done like that was theater, which is a very, like, if you can do live shows, you can do, you know, anything, but I'd never done a musical live show. So I think I want to produce an event, you know, and my wife and I, even though our worlds are separate in a sense, you know, I do assist in some way. But this particular time I said, babe, you know, I think I want to produce a show for you. She looked at me, she's like, oh, okay. Well, I said, where do you want to do a show? And she said, you know, let me think about that. So she came back and she said, I think I want to do one in my hometown in Harlem. I want to do, so you put that together, and, you know, and let me know how that goes. And I said, okay, you know, and just being up for the challenge of it. So I ended up finding the perfect venue in the heart of Harlem, and turned it out. And it was like the standing room was even sold out of the show. And I was really, really excited about putting all the technical pieces together. All she had to do was come in and sound check and do what she does, you know, because that was it. So that was my first actual, you know, production for a performance where it wasn't like a play or a musical.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That inspired the next piece that I'm doing in December, actually.
Okay. So Brunch in the Basement.
Yes.
Talk to me about Brunch in the Basement.
Brunch in the Basement.
How did it come to be?
Well, okay, so Brunch in the Basement is the brainchild of my partner, Javon Armstrong. And she is a jack of all trades, you know, I'll say this, but she started a radio show, a podcast initially. It was a podcast. And then she grew it to be a radio show. And I'm paraphrasing, but she went through a bit of trauma, personal trauma. and was going to stop it. And at that time, I was checking on her kind of and saying, hey, she didn't think she'd be able to do it anymore, and I said, well, I'll help, if that's the case, but I think that this is something that you probably should continue to do. So I came on as her co-host, and this was like maybe I want to say 4 years ago now, and grow the show and get folks on that I'm either connected to, or we continue to grow it. Now it is an actual internet radio show where we can play music, and artists can get their their royalties, and it's international, because the internet is international, and we are growing the numbers in different parts of the world, which is exciting to see. And
awesome.
And it's kind of like it's less about interviews and more about hanging out and finding out. We've kind of broke the traditional press junket, if you will, because a lot of times we would get, I'm not working on anything, so I don't want to come on the show. That's not what the show is about.
Exactly. I get the same thing, and that's not what it's about. We're just talking.
Yeah, exactly. We're just coming to come hang out with us. Let us ask you how you're doing, particularly when the pandemic hit, because everybody was home, and it's really about having a conversation and checking in and seeing how you're doing, and letting people know if you may be feeling a certain way about, your next move, particularly because, the industry got hit really hard, and it's just starting to recover. It's not where it needs to be yet, but the industry got hit. Broadway got hit very hard on this end. And a lot of folks were home trying to figure out their next move, but this is people's bread and butter, and a lot of people are uncertain, and just being able to give folks flowers and remind them that, you're necessary, and, and we appreciate what you brought to the table. I don't know about you, Chike, but music saved my life. So, and there are a few artists that have that. If I had the opportunity to speak to Stevie Wonder, speak to like some of the amazing artists that I knew that have been the soundtrack of my life along the way, it would be awesome. I don't even know what I would do if I were in a room with Stevie Wonder, because he has no idea how much stuff he's gotten me through. Just but yeah, it's life. So, and just to remind folks and give them their flowers while they're here,
Exactly.
And then a way to promote things. We got listeners from all over the world, and if you got something coming up, or you want to do something, or you just want to get your stuff promoted, where you're not doing the junket, you're not paying the publicists and stuff at this time, come on the show and just hang out with us and talk.
I grew up, I shared this story with one of my friends not too long ago, and resorting back to being a child and how you dreamed of things back then. I used to, when I was a kid and I was in the bathroom and I was supposed to be taking a bath, I would sit on the commode and pretend that I was Johnny Carson talking to my guests. I swear to God.
See?
And so I always admired someone who had a platform to be able to showcase other people. So that's why I do what I do, because if I find someone brilliant and great, I want to shine a flashlight on them to show how brilliant and great they are. And that's why you're here, because I think you're brilliant and you're great, and you inspire me. Every time that I'm in your company, like, it's nothing but love and warmth. And I always learn something from you, because I think you're very wise.
Thank you. Well, thank you. And vice versa, you're a gift. You really are. And with that being said, you also have to protect your energy too. Because the world is full of energies right now, particularly what we've just experienced. There's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of stuff going on, and I try to speak to some of that without being preachy,
Yes.
but I also want to do it in a loving way, because it's real, and I know that folks are having these periods right now, and there's just not enough resources for everybody at the same time, And oftentimes we have to be reminded that, easy does it, have a little grace, the same grace you want to be afforded, afford for someone else, But you also inspire me from the Stephen Knight show stuff that you were doing to now. And I think that you are absolutely necessary. And I hope that this is something that you consider doing long term,
Thank you. Yes. Well, as long as I have breath, I'll be doing it.
Nice.
Before I let you go, I want you to shout out the trip that you sponsor every year to the island. Talk about it a little bit.
Ooh, the LGBT Arts and Culture Music Festival. Yes, that is, the best way to describe that is a love fest that happens every Memorial Day weekend, right? And it has grown, and shout out to the founder of the festival, Gregory Douglas, who works. I've never met a harder working person than Greg. Greg is, and someone who has got the natural balance to be able to take care of the customer, and also do what he does, and deal with all of the politics that comes along with trying to get festivals, where it's focused on people of color, So the LGBT Arts and Culture Music Festival is a festival that we do every year, and I am one of the ambassadors. And we pick a destination location, and we go there, and we have, music, we have networking, because quite frankly, people tend to forget that the people of color have a very, like price point and things that, the market for what we deem to be for leisure and luxury, it is very high. And we generate a lot of dollars to the industry, to the economy, and he sets the bar high, but we meet it, when we go, and different artists come and they perform, and it's very relaxed, so that you can come and you mix and mingle and you share your stuff. And I promise you, if you come one time, you will be back, just because, and it gives us an opportunity to love up on you too. I'm usually a mess running around with everybody, just having a good time, and, kind of making sure the events go through and everybody knows where they're going and that sort of thing. But if you've come once, you will continue to come back, because we consider it, a family affair. We do.
Awesome. So I'm going to ask you to drop one last jewel for the people, just a word to throw out in the world of positivity, something from your heart.
One word?
It doesn't have to be one word.
Okay. I want to say gratitude. Gratitude is big for me these days, because when things go on, you have to remember how blessed you are, and also how necessary you are. Gratitude and perspective, those are my big ticket items right now. I practice gratitude daily. Things will come up that'll try to take me off my square, and I remember how blessed I am, and how loved I am, and how necessary I am. And I try to encourage, when folks are having a difficult time, I try to encourage them, listen, that's one perspective, but what if it's this, and try to make sure, people are aware, and do active listening, when I am having these conversations, that's it, That's my word.
I think, Jim, you are a gem, and I absolutely love you. I adore you.
I love you too. Back at you, all the things. You are a mirror, so whatever I give you is because that's what I am. I'm a mirror to your spirit.
Oh, shucks.
Like I think I told you before, you're a dope ass soul. You really are.
Thank you.
Incredible.
We will connect soon. I have to touch and agree with you.
Yes.
And wrap some arms around you.
Yes.
I will drop my number in your DM.
Okay, please do. We should have had this going on. I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, I don't even have his number in my phone. What is this?
Right.
Great.
Correct all that. It's going to get all corrected.
Facts. Yes.
You.
Love you.
Kiss, hug Momo for me.
Will do. Absolutely.
All right. Love you.
Bye-bye.